If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone. And if you're craving a taste of Italy, come experience delicious Italian cuisine and the attentive service at Don Vito's. Our culinary team starts with the freshest ingredients and transforms them into traditional favorites. And don't forget Italian desserts. Don Vito's. Savor the taste of Italy. Finally, if sushi is more your style, join us at the popular Zenshin Asian restaurant and sushi bar, where we're serving up the freshest sashimi, nigiri, and sushi rolls. And beyond the sushi, an exciting contemporary Asian cuisine menu, plus a variety of specialty drinks, Japanese and domestic beer, wine, and sake. Balance your hunger with Zenshin. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Here we go. A very happy Sunday to everybody. This is a big day in the sports world, just 7 days away from Selection Sunday. We will break down all the college basketball games on the slate, and we will get to the ice and go over some hockey. This is Sports by the Book. We shoot live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. We appreciate you being with us this morning. 4 games are about to tip off here at 9 a.m., so let's bring in my co-host for the day, Kenny White. You can find us here. I'm Alex White, 3 days a week on Sports by the Book. And let's bring him in so we can get through these four games that are about to tip off. We can't hear you. Okay, wait, let's try this again. There we go.
Hello, check, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good morning.
Good morning. Let's get started right away. See, because I think you have a play you like. We have a big game in the Big Ten, Michigan and Michigan State. Michigan State has already wrapped up that conference. They are the number 1 seed, but Michigan is looking for revenge since they did lose on their home court earlier this year. Right now, Michigan State, 7-point favorite. Total has bumped up now. I believe it is 149, but it did open 147.
Wow. Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. It is just a regular season game. Both teams love to push the pace, and both teams are great offensively, but these teams are great defensively, too. They're both better defensively than they are on the offensive end. Michigan State, 10-4 to the under on their home court this year. I think it's going to be a tough played game because these two do not like each other. And the first one fell 137. I like this one under. That's a lot of points, I think. A lot has to go right these teams have to shoot the ball extremely well. I just got to believe there's going to be solid transition defense. They're not going to let you score. This is big brother, little brother. They know every move you have in the book because you play so much and you study each other. So I'm under the total.
I'm with you. I do like under. I really like it here at 149. And we saw in Alabama and Auburn yesterday. It's kind of meaningless for Auburn as well, but Bama, same situation, had that revenge, and it would not have gotten over that total without overtime. So still meaningful games to these two. Let's go to the three others at 9, and then we will jump back in order by rotation number. Let's go to 797. This is a tournament game here. Coastal Athletic, quarterfinals, Drexel and Towson. Drexel sneaks in as the 8 seed, and they are a 4-point dog to Towson, total 123.5. A little bit of revenge here for Drexel. Is that enough to jump in on the dog?
No, because the Drexel's playing back-to-back. They had to play yesterday. They got a W to move on in the conference tournament. So I kind of think that nullifies the revenge factor. I lean to the under here in this game. Both teams play extremely slow, and both teams far better on the defensive end. So, I like this one under the total. Early morning start as well. Hopefully, they get off to a poor shooting start.
Let's go to a championship game. We are going down the board, the Big South Conference. Winthrop and High Point, 3 and a 1 seed here in this one. Checking the rotation number, so it is 306, 549, and High Point 7.5, and the total 158. Anything in this one?
Well, I had lean to the over, but I'm not going to bet it over. I don't bet championship games over. I'd rather much rather bet them under. But looking at these two teams, Mark Prosser's team, Winthrop, loves to run. High Point, a great offensive basketball team. That's their strength. Winthrop, the defenses are pretty similar. I was going to try to make a case for the underdog. Mark Prosser, I think I mentioned on the show last week that his dad was a great underdog coach. Couldn't get it done as a favorite, couldn't get his guys up when they were supposed to win, but he could get them up when they weren't. And this is a spot I think that Mark Prosser will get his guys up, and they'll be sky high for this one. And the number's about right, though, so you're kind of just banking on that. It's really a no play for me. If I had to, people want to know. I want to know. I want to make a bet on that game anyway. I'm not making a bet on it. If I had to, I'd bet the underdog. Okay,
taking the points there to try and keep that one close. It was a pretty. The first game, High Point did win 88-66, or the last time these two played, I should say, in the regular season. But it's a very, very meaningful. This win could mean a trip to the NCAA tournament. Last game that is starting at 9. Let's go to the Patriot League here. Navy and Bucknell. Rotation number 306, 551. Bucknell 5-point favorite, and the total 138.5.
This one, this playing on the campus site, so they are playing at Bucknell in this game. I made the game 8. I think there was some 5.5s out early. It back down to 5 there at the South Point. I like Bucknell. Much better basketball team. Playing on their home court is a big plus. 19-10 ATS this year. Bucknell was 8-6 ATS. It looks like Navy's done a nice job on the road, and I always expect that out of the military academies. They are so disciplined. They actually fly more first class than any other team because the jets they fly on have so much room that those guys can do anything they want and relax, stretch out, and sleep. So the military academies do travel well. But again, my number just a little bit higher. I would have to play Bucknell. I did not bet the game because the number was 6 when I saw it earlier, now down to 5. I would have bet it if I saw -5 on Bucknell.
I do like it as well. Much better defense, as we know, in this Patriot League. All the teams are out of the top 200 offensively and defensively, but Bucknell is 178 defense efficiency, so much stronger on the defensive side. Let's go ahead and go down the line now. Rotation number, we'll go to Iowa. But first, for anybody who is watching us live, Sean is working on a poll that we do want you to play along and give us which game surprised you the most yesterday. He narrowed it down to 4 that you can choose from. But it was a fun day in basketball again yesterday, expecting another one today. Dad, did anything jump out to you yesterday, even in women's basketball, that surprised you?
Well, it was such a long day, and with 3 major sports for me going on at the same time, losing an hour today wasn't fun. But now you're asking me to use my memory. That's a little difficult. Surprised me. You'd have to point them out. I really have no idea. It was so many games, and I didn't even get results on my women's college basketball and the men's baseball games till this morning. They were all over. I did my work for Sunday, went to sleep, got up this morning to check scores, and thankfully it was a very, very good day. So, but it's been a tough week. The games haven't been easy. It's been a grind. So I really couldn't tell you what if there was any surprises yesterday.
A lot of work going into this, and a lot of number-based things going in. Really just Bama got their revenge, did win in overtime over Auburn. Duke played a tight game against North Carolina the first half, and then ran away with it, 82-69 win over UNC. St. John's won in overtime. So Penn State had a big win, fighting for their life over Wisconsin. And that kind of leads us right into this next game with Iowa and Nebraska, because right now Iowa is in the 16 seed. Remember, we've talked about this a lot with the Big Ten, because there are 18 teams this year. 2 of them are not going to make it into the tournament. And right now Iowa is in there. So we'll see. We'll see how they win. But now that Penn State had a big win over Wisconsin, I think they are safely in, though. Iowa does have the head-to-head, so I would assume that they would be okay. But they do need to. I'll have you look at this. But let's take a look at the number here.
I hate to be in the correction business when I'm not 100% sure myself. So I'm pulling up the Big Ten conference page. I thought the bottom 3 teams were out. Yeah, the bottom 3 teams. There's 3 teams.
Okay.
That do not make it. And Iowa right now is in that spot. They need a win to tie Northwestern and USC, and the tiebreakers will take over from there. I got to believe if Iowa wins, they're in, because if the tiebreakers did not go in their favor, they would say they were already out. So Nebraska right now, where's Nebraska? Have they solidified themselves? I think they have.
Yes.
They're 7-12. If they lost, they would be 7-13. So there's a lot of 7-13. Nebraska has not clinched a spot. They're possibly through tiebreakers. Nebraska could be out. So both of these teams fighting for their lives. These are big rivals. I would want to play the game over on a normal circumstance, because both teams love to get up tempo, especially Iowa. And Iowa's offense has just been so good. But I do believe that Iowa has not been as big a scoring team as of late as they had been early in the year, and not a bigger over team on the road. So I would definitely lead to the under in this basketball game with as much meaning as it has. I think it'll be close, too. I may lean to Iowa here in this spot, plus the points.
Yeah, fighting for their life here. And we've used this desperation factor a lot, but both teams are. I didn't even realize with Nebraska right there as well. So, yeah, this should be a tight game for these two. Iowa really struggled on the road cover.
Iowa has not played well since Owen Freeman, their big center, went out. He was their rim protector and really the defensive stopper. But they played a lot of low-paced games over the course of the last 3 weeks, looking at their record. I guess they didn't even play well before Freeman went out. This was just, it's a below-average Big Ten basketball team, but always very well coached, very gritty, and obviously with the revenge factor of losing I guess they won the first game. They won the first game at home, and that was an overtime game.
Yes.
See what the final score was going into regulation. It was 76-76. There was 32 points scored in overtime. So the first game between these two teams was not a very high-scoring game. So, boy, Nebraska struggled towards the end as well. They've lost 5 of their last 6 and 4 in a row, and they're coming off a double overtime loss. So I really lean to the under here in this game, more than the dog.
Let's go to another Big Ten game since we do have the standings up and we are looking at this because these two are both desperate as well with Minnesota and Rutgers. Rutgers 5.5 at home, total 143, but both of them are 7-12 as well. So fighting for that
again, yeah, they fall right in that bracket that both these teams must win. The winner will be in. The loser is going to be could possibly miss the conference tournament. So another huge matchup. Now my total does bode well for this one. I made it 140. Talked about Minnesota all year playing that very, very slow pace, solid defensive team. Over the years, it seems like Steve Pickle at Rutgers has been an under guy and preaches defense, but his team is better offensively this year. But he is 8-6 to the under at home. Minnesota 7-2 to the under on the road. So I definitely like that one under the total under. And it's even come down. It was 144.5, now down to 143. I like it under 143. You got to take some points off of your totals when you're making them because these are such big games now.
I do like that as well. And that trend that you said about Rutgers at home and looking at them on the year, 17-11 to the over. So they're playing more of their over games on the road rather than at home. So Minnesota Rutgers under 143 for us in that one. Let's go to the American here. Remember, 12 and 13 have a play-in game. Everybody does make the tournament, though. East Carolina on the road playing Florida Atlantic. FAU 5.5 in this one, total 152. I don't know if I'm missing anything, but I love the dog in this one. East Carolina 5 seed right now in the American. FAU right behind them with the 6 seed. So I think that there's a lot of motivation. They also have home revenge against FAU, but it seems like the bettor's like the favorite in this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I looked over the game as well, Alex, and with that home revenge, I like East Carolina here plus the points. I took 5 and I think I took 5.5, right? Exactly where the number is right now at the South Point.
Okay, I did want to look at one other thing in this conference because 1 through 4 get a double bye. Curious if East Carolina can, with a Tulane loss, which they are playing UAB today. I'm curious if East Carolina could jump them to be that 4 seed. Checking the head-to-head, Tulane did beat them. So I do not think that is possible for this one.
Well, that is not. I'm looking at the bracket, and right now they do not have Tulane locked in to that spot, which is kind of surprising. If Tulane won the only battle against East Carolina, you would think that was the tiebreaker. So,
they did. Okay, wait, they split.
They split. Yeah, they split. So they're this, and that's kind of telling me. That's telling me that if East Carolina wins this basketball game, they're getting the 4 seed. Because if Tulane already owned the tiebreakers over East Carolina,
they would already have them.
They'd already have their name marked in ink, but they're not right now. There's 3 teams marked in. Memphis is the 1 seed, North Texas is 2, and UAB is number 3, and that's set. Even though UAB and North Texas could tie for the 2nd seed, the tiebreaker goes to North Texas, so they know that. So I got to believe that East Carolina wins this game. They're the 4 seed, and they get a double bye.
So East Carolina plus the points is a best bet for us today, and maybe sprinkle a little bit on the money line there. Let's stick with this conference here, North Texas and Temple. Temple getting 6.5 at home. Of course, you did just talk about North Texas and then being the 2 seed right now in the AAC. Total 133.5. Any differences from your numbers in this one?
Well, it's North Texas. I'm always going to be my total's always going to be lower because they play so slow and they play such great defense. But Temple's a great over team. They're 21-7 to the over. So my total 129.5 says I should be betting it under, and it has been bet down. I saw 135.5 on this total earlier today, but I'm going to pass. I'm glad it was bet down. I really didn't want anything to do with it. Last game of the year, not a lot of meaning. As I mentioned, North Texas already locked into the 2 seed. I just going out on the road, we may not see that great defense for North Texas. And they haven't been a great under team all year, but they have on the road 7-3 on the road. So I don't know. The first game came 143. I'm just going to pass. I think it's a meaningless game right now for both teams. Looking at Temple. Temple could finish anywhere between the 6 and 8 seed. So it just really doesn't matter, I don't think, in this game.
One thing going for North Texas is they do have a nice 7-game winning streak. I'm sure they would like to keep that alive going into tournament play. UAB and Tulane, another game or another few teams we were talking about here. 3 and 4 seeds. Tulane is going to be highly motivated in this one, catching 3 at home, total 157.5.
Yeah, and UAB locked into the 3 seed. Not they really can't go anywhere. With a win, they would tie North Texas for second place, but nobody remembers who finished second. So I just don't think it's that big of a game for them. They're probably looking ahead to the conference tournament. You're right, with Tulane needing the W to get that double bye. We were going to get we're going to get this team to play with great focus, and that's what you need in these situations. They may not have the talent because UAB is a better team. I have them 7 points better. But I think that Tulane can stay in this game and keep it close. If it's a flat spot for UAB and they don't show up, Tulane probably wins the game easily.
Maybe Tulane first half with them really coming out strong in this one. There are a few more 3.5s out there, but it's mostly just 3. So looks like the other bettors are thinking the same way as us, and there being some value there with the dog in that one. Sticking with the American, Tulsa and Wichita State. Not a huge game for the conference here in this one. Tulsa tied for 10th right now. Wichita State tied for 7th. Probably going to fall, like you said, between that 7 and 9 when talking about another team earlier. So Wichita State 11.5 at home, though. 143 is the total.
Yeah, I look at those games, try to make some type of case, but I can't for either team because they are pretty much locked in, as you mentioned, in their seeding right now. They can't really move up or down. So my total says under. I only made it 133, but again, these meaningless games towards the end of the year scare me. I think you'll get a little bit of up tempo as well, just because of that fact. Because no meaning. Wichita State does love to run. Yeah. The only thing that helps keep it under, Alex, Tulsa's offense has just been so bad this year, averaging just 68.9 points per game.
Ooh, yeah, they have been very bad, and you're right. Wichita State wants to run. They're the home team, so pass in this one. Let's go to another Big Ten game here. Oregon, big favorite on the road. They are right now in the 8th seed. Cannot jump Illinois, though. They will have the same record with a win today. But Washington, bottom of this conference, they are out. Their season is done after this game. I imagine it has to be senior night there in Washington. They are catching 7.5 at home and the total 146.5. Anything? Can you make a case for the dog in this one?
I can't because I have Oregon just so much better of a basketball team. Obviously, when you finish in the bottom 3 in the division, you're not very good, and that's the Washington team right now. And Dana Altman's got his Oregon Ducks playing, I think, their best basketball of the season right now. 6-game winning streak. I think they win the game. I don't want to lay the points with them, but I think I have a better angle over in the game. I only have a 4-point difference here. I made it 150.5. But again, Oregon's locked into their slot. Washington's playing their last game of the year. Let's go have some fun. Let's run and let's score. And I think that Danny Sprinkle will take the reins off. They've played a slower pace most of the year. Their offense has been pretty decent all year, I think. So I think it's an up-tempo game. I think it goes back and forth, and I think that it goes over the total.
I do want to ask you, because right now, if you look at bracketology, it looks like Oregon should get a 5 seed. Now, with this being the bottom team, is it an important win just not to have a bad loss here at the end of the year? And like you said, they do have a nice 6-game winning streak.
Yeah, no, I think Oregon's the right side in the game. I just don't want to lay 7.5. If they win by 7, they're going to be happy, So I think my angle is just better playing the game over.
Over 146.5. Let's move to the last game on the regular card here, UTSA and Charlotte. Now, this is a rough game here. Tied for 10th, UTSA is in the conference, and Charlotte, they're already locked in. They're playing in that 12-13 play-in game here. They're a 1.5-point favorite at home, and the total 148. Anything you like in this one?
Yeah, Charlotte beat North Texas or Texas San Antonio both times last year, so I had that revenge factor on. I already think UTSA is the better basketball team. I have them 5.5 points better. With that revenge factor, I don't think I want to give any home court. I'm playing Texas San Antonio. I'm surprised there has been money for Charlotte. I have no idea why. Two young coaches. Austin Clunch is in his first year at UTSA. That's the only thing that scares me. But again, these guys got to go back and look at tape and what they did. And I don't know, though, if a new coach – and he may be looking at tape from this year against Charlotte and what they did and not even showing them. I would, if I was the coach, I would show them the tape from last year. Hey, these guys beat us twice. So I think good coaches do that. And I think that Texas San Antonio is the better team, and they've got a little motivation because of that. So this would have been a mid-season, would have been a very big play for me, a 3 to 4% play. Because I could make this game as high as, 7.5, and you're getting 1.5. But with it being the last game of the year and a brand new coach, if it was a coach that had been there, again, I would have been a much bigger play. But I still bet it. I just didn't bet it as big as I would have normally bet it. And always conservative money management.
Charlotte just 1-5 in their last 6 games. And this is the first game this year between these two. So they might have to go back and look at last year's film. So I like it too. I lean that way, taking the dog here with UTSA. Let's go ahead and move to our tournament games. We already went over a couple of them that had started early. We can give some updates there as well as I pull those up. Michigan State off to a huge lead, 20-6 over Michigan. Towson, 15-13 against Drexel. Navy with a big lead here, 16-8 over Bucknell. And then Withrow coming in hot, 25-18 over High Point. So might be some opportunities to jump in on some dogs that closed as favorites if you think that they can make a comeback here in these big games. So we'll continue to give you some updates there. But wow, I am a little surprised with that Michigan State 20-6. with 11:44 left in that first half. Okay, here we go. We are moving on. We're going to start with the Coastal Athletic. I will just say SIUE is the first automatic qualification here, defeating Southeast Missouri State 69-48. And this is the Cougars' first March Madness appearance. So one team already in the tournament. We have a couple championships today, so we'll have some more teams after the results. Went through Drexel and Towson. Let's keep it there in the Coastal. Delaware and William and Mary. If I'm not mistaken, Delaware is a 12 seed. Is that correct? We've got the bracket up there. So a 12 seed sneaking in here, becoming the lowest seed ever to advance to the quarterfinals here. William and Mary, 3.5, and the total 161. Pretty high total. Any differences with your numbers?
Well, just the raw numbers, no. I have a 3-point difference between the two teams. So, just at first glance, you say, well, there's no play there in that game. But then you kind of dig deeper and just see what's going on. Now, Delaware has won 2 in a row in the tournament and played well, but this is their third game in 3 days now. Are they going to be tired? They do get tired. I've seen teams pull it out. I've seen teams win 5 games in 5 days before, but you're now going up against a team who you've already beaten this year, too, who's ranked higher than you. William & Mary hasn't played in the tournament yet. They're well rested. I just think it's a very good spot for William & Mary. It's one of those spots that you know they're going to be focused. They lost to this team. We know Delaware is going to be focused. They played 2 games, but they're going to be tired. I just think William & Mary wins this game, and I think they win it handily.
All right, William & Mary, 3.5 in this quarterfinal game. Keeping it right there, Hampton and UNC Wilmington. Now, these two split in the regular season, so we'll see what you make of this one. NC Wilmington, 8-point favorite, and that number has moved up, and the total 136.5.
Yeah, Hampton played yesterday. They won, so they're playing back-to-back. I only had Wilmington 6 in the game, but that one factor would, push my 6 up a little bit higher, so it's a little closer to what the number should be. I think the price is just right at -8. My total 139.5. There has been a little money for the under in this game. I'm not really interested in it. They both do play slow, but Wilmington can score. And both teams this year have been money makers for their backers. Hampton 18-9 ATS, Wilmington 18-10 ATS. So my numbers are right there. I'm going to pass.
All right, let's go the 6 seed and the 3 seed with Monmouth and College of Charleston. Monmouth 13-18 or 18-13 to the under this year. We'll see if that could be a play for you in this one. College of Charleston 8.5-point favorite and the total 146.5.
Well, we'll see who controls the pace. I think Charleston will control it. And, Monmouth played a high-scoring game against them the first time. They beat them 84-73. So, I don't like to give revenge factor. When you're playing on a neutral court, I do like to go back and give something to the team who lost the regular season battle. So I added 2 points to my number and made the game 8. Then I thought about, oh, my gosh, Monmouth played yesterday, and Charleston's playing their first game. So back-to-back games for Monmouth, that's a little more incentive or factor to College of Charleston. But the numbers have caught up. This game was 6.5 late last night, early this morning. So there's been a lot of money for College of Charleston, now up to 8.5. I think it's the right number. I do lean to the over. I made it 160.5. Wow. They've been betting it under, and I understand you want to bet tournament games under, but College of Charleston runs and can score. And neither team really plays good transition defense. So I think you're going to see some fast break points in this game. If it comes the same way the first one did, 84-73, I'll be happy.
So CAA leaning to the favorites. I don't think we really found any dogs that we could make a case for. Actually, maybe the one that is going on right now that already started at 9. But let's go to Missouri Valley. We've got a championship game coming up. Chalk did prevail in this one. We've got a 1 and 2 seed with Bradley and Drake. Looking at this number here at the South Point, we've got Drake a 4-point favorite. Let me double check. And the total 118, so very low in this one.
Yeah, wow, a bet down again. That is a very low total. Normally you don't see these low totals being bet down like this. This game opened 124 yesterday. So a huge difference. I made it 124.5. I understand Drake with their slow down game and their great defense could keep this under, but it's not that many points. I wanted to look and see what these two did during the regular season. They both won on each other's home court. Drake won 64-57. That game 121, and then the next game. Bradley won at Drake 61-59. So both games were very low scoring. Both games were low pace. We expected that, and that's what we expected to see. But my numbers, Bradley is a good team. They're a good basketball team. I have Drake 1.5, 124.5. I think I like the over better here.
I agree. I think the opening number was closer to what this number should be. I've got 123. So, yeah, I mean, wow, that is an aggressive move for the bettors here with the under. It is really impressive. Drake 29-3 on the year.
all year we've seen these number guys, the number crunchers that are just betting off numbers, betting these low totals over. So I'm very surprised.
We'll see what happens in that one. Lean to the over for us with Bradley and Drake. One of those teams will be going on for March Madness. Southern Conference here. Let's take a look at these two games. We got semis with Furman, a 5 seed, playing against the 1 seed in Chattanooga. And then we have VMI and Wofford for the second game. Starting off with Chattanooga as a 2-point favorite at home. Total 144.5.
Yeah, little revenge factor. Furman did lose the only game they played. I believe it was the only game they played. I better double check that. But that was on. It was on the road. I want to make sure that I know though. See if they lost both. They did. They lost both games. So they're definitely a revenge factor here. I'm only going to make Chattanooga 1. But there's been money for Furman already, and then losing both times in a season is a big factor. Why people bet games this time of year, and that's why they took the points. Now that they've taken it, it's out of range for me. I have a much higher total, though. 157.5 I have. And how do I have such a high total? I guess Chattanooga can score. This is Dan Earl. Dan Earl used to be an up-tempo, fast-break coach. His paces were the highest in the country. He did not play that way this year with his team, but they are far better offensively than they're on the defensive end. So I'm going to trust my total here in this one, even if I took 5 points off for being a semifinal game. And I don't want to be wishy-washy and back and forth. You've got to have a process and stick to it. I talked about earlier, I like these games under that are big games, and we just talked about Bradley and Drake. Then we're going to go over because of the total move so far down. I've talked all year about I don't like to bet against the move.
Yes.
So I really shouldn't even be betting that Bradley Drake game over for those two factors, because it is a championship game. And it has been a bet by professionals that are betting money as well that think they know something. So I'm going to pass on that total just to make sure that I don't go back and forth. I want to have a process, stick to it, and it's much better that way. So if I took 5 points off this total, I'd still have 152.5. I'd still have an 8-point difference. I think Chattanooga's offense is good enough to get this game over. So I do like this one over the total.
Okay, I agree. And you have been preaching that we have not been betting against the steam all year long. So I do think that is smart for the Drake and Bradley game coming up. I like the over too. And last Thursday, I had 2 and 2 totals, 2 overs, 2 unders, and one of my unders lost, and then the other 3 did win. So I do think you can find some good spots to take overs. And these teams, they want to use their strengths, and Chattanooga's strength is definitely their offense. So I think this is a good one that we can jump in on. Let's go to VMI and Wofford here. These two split in the regular season. Wofford is a 9.5-point favorite, and the total is 138.5.
Yeah, I have 7.5 on the game, so I lean to the dog here in this one. 146.5 my total, but I should take 5 points off that total as well. Just being a big game like this, and we don't have the pace. Wofford plays very, very slow. VMI has struggled on the offensive end all year, so I'm going to pass on the game. I have a small lean to VMI.
I will say, because both of them did win on each other's home court, and the last time these two played, VMI was embarrassed. That was an 82-43 loss for them, so that could be some extra motivation there to making a case for the dog.
Yeah, there could be. Embarrassment factor is something that you definitely have to look at, but I do know that Wofford is a far better basketball team.
And sticking with what you've been talking about all day long is, they have played 2 in a row already to get to this spot, so might have to take a little bit off for that as well. Could be a little tired coming into this one.
Yes, I didn't get to that, but you're right. This is their 3rd straight game in the conference tournament, and you got to look back and see how they played too. The scores have come a little bit lower in each one of those games.
Yep.
Playing their 3rd game. 3 games in 3 nights, that's going to get awfully tough on you. So that's a negative on betting VMI just because of that factor.
Let's go ahead and move to the Sun Belt, which chalk did prevail in this one as well. So it looks like the stepladder did work out for them. But I'm going to do a quick little update here. Michigan trying to make a comeback here, still down 25-13 to the Spartans. Towson 24-22 over Drexel. Navy still with the lead, 28-20 over Bucknell. And then Winthrop is 36-23 over High Point. Looks like Iowa and Nebraska just got started as well. Nebraska 9-4 with 15:55 left in that first half. So we'll see if the pace is going to be there between those two. Moving to the Sun Belt here, semifinals, 2 games today. We've got Arkansas State and South Alabama and Troy and James Madison. So the 1 versus the 4. Arkansas State is the 4 seed. And I'm going to have to double check that line right there. Do you have that up? Arkansas State, 4.5, total 135.5. Anything in this one?
I made it right there. I made Arkansas State 4.5, and my total was very close. So no bet for me in that game. I did want to mention that you brought up those scores, that the Bucknell side, there's 6 minutes to go in the first half. They could make a little bit of a run here, but I would wait to halftime to bet Bucknell, let them get into the locker room and make some adjustments if they have to here. And they're the better basketball team. I think they come back. I think they'll win the game. So that would be a bet that I would make at halftime.
28-23 now, so they are trying to close in on that gap. It's looking how Navy has been playing as of late, though. It has been playing much better basketball, but Bucknell did close as the favorite in that one. One more in the Sun Belt. This is the 2-3 seed Troy James Madison. Troy is a 2.5. Nope, that has moved down. 1.5 point favorite, and the total 131.5.
Yeah, I have Troy 2.5 point favorite, 128.5. All these totals have been bet under. I don't blame them. I almost still want to go under here. If I take 5 points off my total, I've got 123.5. I know the pace is going to be extremely slow, and the defense for Troy should be a predominant factor in this game. I would have really liked to have made a case for Troy, but they are playing back-to-back. So I'm going to pass on that. But I think I will bet the game under. I did miss the best of the price. Wow. Now that I'm looking, Central America, faraway places, open this game 136.5.
Wow.
So a lot of money for the under.
136.5. That would have been a very nice difference from our totals of what we made.
Yeah, you'd have a lot better chance of cashing a ticket under 136.5. Even 133.5. I'd much rather have that.
So maybe some in-game. Make sure you watch for the totals too, and see if they get out to a big lead, and you can jump in the in-game. Let's go to the Big Sky. Second round here: Weber State and Northern Colorado and Northern Arizona and Montana. So 2 of the top teams going today with Northern Colorado, 11.5 point favorite, total 147.5. Did anything jump out in this game?
I made Northern Colorado 9 and 150.5. I wanted to look. I know that Weber just beat Sacramento State. This time of year, throw out what happened before. There is a revenge factor. Weber has lost both games to this team, so I'm looking to play Weber. And now that the line is up to as high as 11.5, yeah, even with the fact that Weber's got to play back-to-back, I'll still play Weber today.
Taking the 11.5, and then we are going to the other one where Northern Arizona did just beat Eastern Washington to play in this game here against Montana. Montana's a 6 point favorite, and the total 146.5. And then I believe the next 2 games are tomorrow. Yes, we will have the next 2 for round 2. Finishing up for the Big Sky.
Another revenge factor that Northern Arizona lost both games, and I will, adjust my number to Northern Arizona a half. I think these teams are pretty close in talent. These teams are much closer than the Weber Northern Colorado game. So, the one factor is you worry about these teams that are playing back-to-back getting a little tired. So maybe a first-half bet might be better even in both of those games, taking Weber in the first half and taking Northern Arizona in the first half.
Okay. First half bets, I do like that for those conference tournament games. Let's go to quarterfinals here with the WCC, which is right down the street from us here in Las Vegas. Pepperdine and Santa Clara, and then we have Washington State and San Francisco all going today, with the championship game going tomorrow. So we'll see who we have playing St. Mary's and Gonzaga. Is that correct, Sean? Sorry, the semis will be tomorrow. Semis tomorrow against them. So let's start with this one. Santa Clara 15.5 over Pepperdine, and the total is 154.5.
So the only game they played this year was at Santa Clara. Pepperdine loses 91-80. So I can't really give revenge factor for that. And Pepperdine's playing their third game in 3 days. They pulled off 2 upsets in a row. The Portland game wasn't a huge upset, but they came back from down 10 to win by 13, and then they pull off the upset beating Oregon State last night. This is what happens in tournament time. You get teams to start to play like this, but I think they are way overmatched in this game, and playing their third game in 3 days, they could start to lose their legs a little bit. This one may be a game you look to bet. If it's close early, Santa Clara picks it up and really starts to stretch this lead out in the second half.
Both of them have a little bit of a trend to the over. Pepperdine 16-13 and Santa Clara 16-15. I did think this number should come a little bit higher here, but stay away with the tournament, right?
Yeah, I like to adjust mine down, but there's certain situations where if you know the team's going to run, and you know that both these teams are going to push the pace a little bit, and Santa Clara's offense is just so good. Pepperdine's scoring right now. They got 86 against Portland. They had 83 in a loss against Washington State, and 82 in a loss to Marymount late, 78 in a loss to Oregon State. So they're playing. They scored they scored 55 against the Zags in a loss on the road. They're going to be in the. It looks like this Pepperdine team wants to play faster. It is a big number though, 154.5. You're going to need them to score 75. They have been doing that, so I do lean to the over here in this game. I think this game could go over because of the legs for Pepperdine. The first thing that goes when your legs goes your defense.
Yes, very true. Well, the bettors are betting this second game in the WCC over because it was 147.5. Now it's been bet up to 149. San Francisco laying 5 as the favorite here against Washington State. And like I said, the total moving up now. Anything for you?
I made San Francisco 6. These teams split during the regular season. I made my total 149, and we're looking at 148. I do think this could be another up-tempo game because of Washington State and the way they like to play. But San Francisco's defense has been very good all year long. So we'll see who wins out, offense or defense here. My numbers are telling me the number in the book is right on, so I'm just going to pass.
We still have 3 championship games to get to at the Summit, Big South, and Southland, and then we have a couple more. We have a first round, and then we have a couple semis. So we're going to kind of quickly go through these, take a quick break, and then we will do a little bit of hockey if any numbers jumped out to either one of us. And then we will call it a Sunday and hopefully cash some tickets here. So Summit championship game here, St. Thomas and Omaha. Looking at what the line is right now, St. Thomas is 4 and the total is 150. Where are your numbers? Any value here in this game?
Well, I only made St. Thomas 1.5. And these two teams split on the regular season, both winning on their home court. So I can't add any revenge factor, but that number's it's a championship game. That number is big enough for me to take Omaha here, plus the 4.
I like it.
Yeah, Chris Crutchfield, I think he's done a decent job, and they've been a spread cover machine all year. 21-9. So you've been betting them. You might as well take them again, plus 4. They don't even need to win the game for you to cash the ticket. Now, these two teams both like to play fast. They both can score. Both teams are far better offensively than their defense. But my total 153, I'm going to take 5 points off because the championship game, make it 148. I have no play in the total, but I do like the side.
I think I could hear the locker room motivational speech from the coach saying, we won the division. We're the 1 seed, but we're the underdog. So it's kind of a little disrespectful and get their players
That's very
going.
true. Yeah.
So
That's very true. I'm sure that point spread should be brought up. Hey, we are the underdogs in this game, and the players will go, we're the underdogs, and then they'll be able to look it up and go to a sports book and see, yeah, we are the underdogs.
Yeah, they think St. Thomas is better. So should be a good one between those two. I'm looking forward to that one today. Omaha +4 for us in that championship. Big South Championship is underway. Let's do a little update on that one. We were given updates as we were going. So we've got halftime between these two, 39-29, with Winthrop up in that one, even with High Point closing as the favorite. So
I told you to bet that underdog.
Yep, that was the one.
Yeah, well,
no,
I wasn't making a case for it. My numbers were right on. I said, I know if people want to make a bet, the only way I could go would be the underdog of the game, but I had no difference in that game.
Patriot League going on right now. We were talking about that one as well. Almost halftime, still 2:50 left in that first half. Navy still up 34-27. Going to Colgate and American. See if you have any differences in this one between these two. 135.5. So that total has been bet down. I did see some 137s earlier today, and then American is 2.5 point favorite in this one.
Yeah, I have American a 1.5 point favorite, total of 139.5. And I do believe, American won both games on the season, so there is revenge. I have to adjust that. I'd make Colgate a small favorite in this game. Again, we're crossing 0. I think I have enough difference, though. I'll play Colgate here. I haven't played it yet, but I will. The number was 1.5 earlier, so there's been some money for American. I'm kind of betting against the money, going against the process a little bit. But I like teams when they've lost both games during the regular season, and you could get points with them because a lot of times they win these games. I just double-checked. All starters are in for both teams. So I'll take 2.5 with Colgate. Small play, 1%.
Very hard to win 3 in a row. Don't know what time this game starts. Pretty soon, right? Okay, so yeah, that other game will still be going on. But it would be very interesting if we had 2 upsets happening in the Patriot League today. Another championship, the last championship of the day. We've got the ASUN here. Feels like this tournament's been going on for a while. North Alabama and Lipscomb. We've got 4.5 on the spread, and the total is 143. Lean to the over, but it's a championship game, so you got to take some. We're taking 5 off from our totals. What about this side? Can you make a case for the dog in this one?
I definitely can. These 2 teams have been the top 2 teams in the conference all year long, and I think they're pretty evenly matched. It is a home game for Lipscomb, but I think North Alabama is the better team. So, yeah, give me the points with the dog here. I love it.
Very good. All right, let's quickly go through this first round of the Southland Conference, and then let's we'll take a break, do hockey, and then give out our whiteboard plays. So I really like that one too. I think I'm gonna have to follow that North Alabama plus 4.5 and put it on the board as well. First round here, Houston Christian and Texas A&M CC is a 6.5 point favorite, and the total is 135. Anything in this one you like the under?
I made it 5, the side 5.5, so that's right on. But the total, I did make 131.5. Christian plays very, very slow, and both teams are slightly better defensively. Not a big difference, though. We missed the best of the number, so I'm just going to pass on that one.
Passing on that one, but Christian is 10-6 to the under. Those are road numbers, right? So
yeah, those are road numbers.
Okay, one more in this one. Pulling it up right now to make sure I have the right number. SC Louisiana is 3.5, and the total is 138.5 against Incarnate Word.
I only have this game. I have the game picked. I think it's going to be a close game. I just wanted to look real quick to see if there's revenge factor here. I didn't have that on my sheet with it being a tournament game they possibly could have played twice this year. So Incarnate Word and Southeast Louisiana. They lost away. They lost both games. So Incarnate lost both games during the season. I'm going to make them a small favorite at 2.5. We can get 3.5 with them, but there is a problem. Checking injuries, their best player, their point guard, Jalen Anderson, has been out. So that's a big factor. And now, this time of year, a lot of times these guys sit these players out at the end when the games don't mean anything. There's nothing on the SpankOn screen that has an injury, but we need to double check that. If, as I said, a lot of times coaches will keep these players out the last couple games of the season to rest them for the conference tournament. So Jalen Anderson is a big player worth about 4 points to the betting line for Incarnate Word. If he plays, I think they're a very solid play.
Very good. Yeah, that's one of your favorites, right? If he does play, because you're getting points with the team that you can make a case to be the favorite.
And yeah, no doubt about one of my best bets has always been opposite side favorite bets, and then obviously laying winning by less than a possession when you make a team 2 or 3. So if I make a team 6 or more and I can lay less than 3, those have always been good bets, and they've been extremely strong this year. Yes. On the show, we've given out so many winners in that case, but opposite side favorites, I think, has always been even a better bet over the years. So during the break, I'm going to try to check and see if I can find some information on Anderson to see if he's playing today, because that could be my best bet of the day. We are going to take a quick break, just checking in with the chat again. Dave Clark, different Dave Clark, I believe, but he is joining us. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. Not Sean is here. He cashed the over 171.5 on Kentucky and Mizzou. Pretty sure they scored 40 points total in the final 4 minutes. Sean, I was pretty lucky. I cashed the over in Alabama, Auburn. Thank you, OT, in that one. Drew Dog is here, of course. And then we do have a D3G3N asked about thoughts on Bradley and Drake. So hopefully we covered that. And then Trace is here as well. So appreciate all of you watching us live. If you are catching the replay, we appreciate you as well. Please hit the subscribe button for our YouTube channel. This isn't a farewell, though. We'll be back 1 minute. On the other side, we have hockey, and then we have our whiteboard best bets.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Get ready to laugh with Punchlines with Frank Nicotero. Join Frank and his team of featured guests for your daily dose of comedy.
Reno, the Pittsburgh of the West.
Poison.
Yeah.
Poison.
Sports.
F for Falcons, Alex. We were talking Derek Carr for MVP after 2 games.
Who's we?
Okay, me. I was.
And the funniest social media posts.
People want to show off their food. Boom. Wiener on a guy's shoulder. It's the Dark Colts. We bleed blue.
It's your one-stop spot for great laughs and a good time. Find us on YouTube at Punchlines FN. And join the chat live weekdays at noon Pacific for the ultimate blend of jokes, sports, and viral fun.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When
Welcome back, everybody. This is Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point studio, live at the South Point Hotel and Casino, just south on Las Vegas Boulevard. Thanks so much for everybody jumping in, watching us live. Please like, share, subscribe. This is Sports by the Book YouTube channel. So make sure and pass that along for us. Checking in, I'm Alex Way alongside Kenny Way. We were talking about Incarnate Word and SC Louisiana. Final game on the betting board for college hoops. Find anything in the injury report?
No, nothing there. I went to the website. That they don't even have a game notes, and I was surprised to read, though, that this team's trying to do something no other Incarnate Word has ever done, win a Southland Conference tournament game. So very important game. They're going to be fired up, but their best player being out, I can't bet it if I don't know that, because I think the line's right. If he's out, if he's in, Incarnate Word is a very strong play plus the points.
Okay, we're going to go to the ice. We'll kind of go quickly through these games. We still have to do some updating because trade deadline came and went. A lot of movements, some big names traded across the league here, and some teams pretty much just throwing in the towel. So got to be careful when making these bets here. That first game on the board, Devils and Flyers, we're going to pass that. No Jack Hughes for the rest of the season for New Jersey. That's a huge loss for him. Didn't make any really big moves to say that they were still making a push down the stretch for the postseason. The Flyers as well. Pittsburgh, pretty banged up. Did get rid of a few guys before the trade deadline. Going to Minnesota, I do like this one a lot. The Wild minus 135 here at the South Point. I think that is a very good number on them. Plus, Dad, Penguins, 4-game losing streak. So we have to add in a little bit of extra there, right?
Yeah, and also add in Marc-Andre Fleury playing against his original team that he won a Stanley Cup with. So he'll be fired up to beat them.
That is very, very true. So yeah, I think minus 135 is a good price there. Looking down the board, I do like the over in the Kraken and the Capitals game. It is 5.5. And looking at current form, the Caps have been playing lower scoring games, but looking at their median at home, it is 3-3. They're still on a great 8 chase as well for Ovechkin. So I like the goals there. I made that one 6.5. Anything else jump out to you?
I agree with you. With Ovechkin, they're playing fast and furious. They're trying to score goals. So I think you're right. Seattle playing back-to-back as well.
I did hear, too. I wish I knew who it was, but they did say you might be able to find Ovechkin to score the last goal at a pretty good, maybe 8-1 price, which we talked about him getting those empty net opportunities, too. So I thought that was a pretty good number, so start looking around for good opportunities like that. The Canes, they did not keep Rantanen. He went to Colorado, so I don't really know what to do with them. They are at home. They play much better at home, but they're playing against the Winnipeg Jets. I think that number is just right between those two teams. Columbus and the Rangers, though, 6.5. We made it 6.5 as well. A little bit of a lean to the Rangers side at minus 130. I think that's really it. The Wild jumped out to me, and then that over in the Caps game. Dallas is playing on a back-to-back. They did lose to Edmonton yesterday, and it will be Casey DeSmith tonight looking for a bounce back. They made a lot of moves. They are now one of the favorites to win the Cup at plus 650, I believe, at most shops. So that's it for me for today for hockey. So that means it is time for our whiteboard plays of the day. Hopefully you have your whiteboard there.
I do, but I'm
getting it ready.
Right on this side.
I can go first then. So today is my Monday. Thursday was my last day here. I did go 4-2. My pizza money bet did not win, so that would have been 4-3, but that was a pizza money bet. And that was the Canadians, who did lose in overtime, so it was very close. And I like what you said the other day, Dad, and you can kind of repeat that after I go through my whiteboards, but it was about 75% of your bet should at least have a chance of winning to know that you are on the right track. Is that correct? Something like that. But
Yeah,
we'll get that after.
Correct.
Okay, we're going with a lot of dogs here today in college hoops. So let's start off. I've got 5 plays today. East Carolina plus 5.5. We're going Furman and Chattanooga over 144.5. Made that one a lot higher, closer to 150. Northern Arizona plus 6 against Montana. Omaha plus 4 against St. Thomas. And then North Alabama plus 4.5 against the best team in that conference, Lipscomb. So I think that's going to be a close game there. 5 for me, 4 dogs, and 1 over. Best of luck to everybody who is trailing me today. Let's hear your whiteboard plays of the day.
My 4 today, Alex, William & Mary minus the 3.5, East Carolina plus 5, Weber State plus 11.5, and Nebraska Omaha plus 4. That's my 4 for the day.
Very good. So you have 2 dogs as well. You liked that North Alabama too.
I got 3 dogs.
3 dogs.
3 dog day. 1 favorite, 3 dogs.
Very good. Let's have a winning day. Kenny and I will be back tomorrow, Monday at 10 a.m. We'll both be here at the desk at the South Point studio. For Sean and Andrew, thank you guys so much. Do I need to check in the chat again? I know we did do a poll. It looked like Alabama and Auburn tied with Kentucky and Mizzou for the most surprising outcome from yesterday's slate. Good luck to everybody. Let's cash some tickets. Oh, we do have a couple more in here. So a couple of regulars with Attila and then Vicarious Vegas. Hello. And then Daryl, welcome. Thank you. He does like that North Alabama under as well. That's it for us for today. This is Sports by the Book. Back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for Kenny White. I'm Alex White. We'll see you guys then.